Every morning is like standing at the gate of a burning castle. Either you enter with strategy and sword in hand, or the fire consumes you before you understand what's happening. That raw, that real. Waking up is not just opening your eyes. It's opening the battlefield, and many, unknowingly, step on that sacred ground unarmed, disoriented, distracted. Then they wonder why they feel the day overruns them. Why they live putting out fires instead of building something. Why everything seems out of control. The answer is right there, in that first moment, when you decide whether to be the one who commands your life or who leaves it on autopilot. It's not an exaggeration. The first hours of the day are not just a start, they are a declaration of war. What you think, what you do, what you allow into your mind at that moment defines your focus, your energy, your clarity, and your power. If you don't decide, the algorithm, the routine, the news, the anxiety, the external noise will. The Stoics understood it better than anyone. For them, each day was an opportunity to sharpen character. They didn't live hoping everything would be easy. They lived prepared to resist, to act with intention, to rise with strength, even when everything outside seemed to crumble. And that's not ancient poetry, it's daily practice. It's what we lack most today, a firm, sober, real start. This video is not an invitation to wake up with a fake smile. It's a warning, a guide for you to take those early hours and turn them into your training ground. We're going to look at 8 lessons inspired by Stoicism, practical discipline, and the real psychology of someone who's tired of living lost. 8 moves you can make from the first conscious breath of the day. Because if you master your mornings, what comes next doesn't knock you down, it follows you. And if you still think this is just another tip for having habits, then maybe you're not ready to conquer your castle. 1. Organize the battlefield. Imagine you're a warrior in the midst of chaos. You're about to fight an important battle, but when you step out of your tent, everything is out of place. Your armor is scattered, your weapons are dirty, and your allies don't even know what to do. What chance do you have of winning like this? That's exactly what you do every morning when you leave your environment in disarray. When you wake up and see clothes strewn about, dirty dishes, accumulated papers, things out of place, you're starting the day in the middle of a trench full of distractions. Your mind notices it, your body feels it, and even if you don't say it out loud, you've already started losing. The Stoics spoke a lot about order, not as an obsession but as preparation. Seneca said that an ordered life is a life that masters itself, because when you order what surrounds you, you're also ordering what's inside you. Your environment is not neutral. It's a reflection of your mental state and at the same time a direct influence on it. And it's not just about aesthetics, it's about control. When you take 10 minutes to make your bed, clean your space, pick up what's out of place, you're sending a silent but powerful message to your brain. I'm in control. This is my territory. Chaos does not reign here, I do. And that small act changes everything. Because an ordered environment gives you clarity. It allows you to think better, move better, decide better. It's like clearing the fog before driving. It's not something you do externally. It's something that changes how you face what's coming. Now you might be thinking, but I have more important things to do than tidy my room. False. There's nothing more urgent in the morning than building the mental structure from which you're going to operate. And that structure is built with small acts of discipline, with decisions that, although they may seem minimal, align you with a stronger and more focused version of yourself. Ordering your space is also a way to protect your energy. Because every object out of place, every dirty corner, every pending thing your sight reaches, is a small mental leak. It's like having 100 open windows on your computer. Even if you're not using them, they all consume resources, and sooner or later you collapse. Therefore, as soon as you declare your victory upon waking, the next step is to organize the battlefield, not as a task, but as an act of affirmation. You order, because you are someone who is building something serious, because you can't think clearly in the midst of disorder, because external chaos always seeps in, and you can't afford that luxury. Make it simple, make it fast, make it daily. Make your space reflect who you are when you're at your best level. Let your made bed, your clean desk, your clear environment speak for you even when you don't say a word. 2. Protect your mind as you open your eyes. Your mind upon waking is like a fortress with its gates wide open. There are no guards in position yet, no filters, no defenses. Anything that enters at this moment settles deep, without resistance. Therefore, the first thing you let in defines the mental state with which you are going to operate for the rest of the day. And most people, as soon as they open their eyes, allow the enemy to enter without knocking on the door. Notifications, social media, messages, mail, news, noise, information they have not chosen, that does not build them, that only serves one purpose, to weaken the mind from the first minute. And what do you expect afterwards? Clarity, focus, tranquility? It's impossible to have a strong mind when you feed it with garbage as soon as you wake up. It's like trying to build a temple on contaminated ground. The Stoics were relentless about this, not because they lived in absolute silence, but because they knew that the mind is sacred, and what you allow into it transforms it. Epictetus put it clearly, it is not things that disturb us, but the opinions we have about them. But how are you going to have good opinions, good judgments, if the first thing you consume is the confusion of the world? That's why this point is clear. Protect your mind as you open your eyes. Be intentional, be jealous, be radical if necessary, because what happens in those first minutes after waking up multiplies throughout the day. If you go on autopilot, you fill yourself with anxiety, comparison, urgency. But if you enter with awareness, with control, with full attention, your mind becomes a tool, not a trap. Make it an unbreakable habit. Don't look at your phone in the first minutes of the day, neither out of habit nor on impulse. Don't connect to the world until you have connected with yourself. Take a pause, breathe, observe your surroundings, listen to the silence, feel present, remind yourself what you are doing here. You don't need to meditate like a monk or have an hour-long routine. It's enough to protect the mental space. A few minutes of reflection, writing, gratitude are enough. Or simply of being, in silence, in awareness, in control. Because in that small space, when no one else has entered yet, is when you can choose the direction your mind will take. The problem is not the world. The problem is that you open the door too soon. You expose yourself before you are ready. You start running without having warmed up. That's what breaks you, not the day, but how you arrive at it. Protecting your mind is an act of respect towards yourself. It's declaring that your attention is valuable, that your thoughts are not up for auction, that your peace is not negotiable. It's understanding that you can't change the world from confusion, but you can face it from clarity. Make it an internal law. Nobody enters your mind before you. Neither the noise, nor the networks, nor the problems, nor the past. Nothing, you first. Your voice, your intention, your vision. 3. Bring your body to life from the inside. Waking up is like lighting a bonfire in the middle of the cold. A spark is not enough. You need fuel. If you don't feed the fire, if you don't take care of it from the start, it goes out quickly. And when the cold of the world comes, because it always comes, it will find you weak, trembling, without the strength to respond. That's how your body works every morning. You slept, yes, but that doesn't mean you're ready. The internal fire is low, your system is slow, you're dehydrated, inflamed, carrying toxins that built up while you were sleeping. And if you do nothing about it, that state will accompany you for the rest of the day. It doesn't matter how many tasks you have, how much you want to perform. If you don't light the fire, you're going to move with the energy of a candle about to go out. The first thing that enters your body every morning should be respect. Clean water, deep oxygen, conscious movement, not a coffee to patch up sleep, not a heavy breakfast to fill emotional voids, not hours of inertia in front of a screen. Respect. Because if your body weakens, your mind also drags. And when that happens, you lose much more than productivity. You lose presence. Hydrating upon waking is not a health magazine recommendation. It's a biological strategy. You're made of water, your blood, your organs, your brain. Everything depends on that basic liquid that many ignore until the body sends them the bill. Drink water as soon as you open your eyes. Do it as if you were turning off an internal alarm, because that's what you're doing. You're freeing the system, cleaning the ground, oxygenating your decisions. Then move. Stretch your muscles. Feel your weight. Remember that you have a body before acting as if you were just a mind. You don't need to train like an athlete. Just activate yourself as a human being, because if you don't move, everything else slows down. Circulation, digestion, thought, mood. Stagnation is not noticed instantly, but it accumulates, and when it explodes, it does so in the form of chronic fatigue, irritability, anxiety, or illness. This point is simple but profound. Before conquering your agenda, conquer your biology. Before answering messages, respond to your body, because it is the first soldier of your army. If you neglect it, don't expect to win any important battle. And it's not about seeking perfection, but connection. Feeling that you are with yourself, from the inside, from early on. Modern life pushes you to go straight to performance, to speed, to action. But the body does not obey artificial urgency. It obeys consistency, care, real energy. And that energy is not bought, it is cultivated, it is ignited. So start simple. Water, breathing, stretching, intention. Don't do it as one more task. Do it as a commitment to yourself. Because it is. Because if you don't take care of what sustains you, everything else collapses. 4. Wake up with the sun, not with screens. Waking up is like opening a window after a storm. Outside, the world starts to breathe again. There's silence, soft light, a moment of pause before the noise, before the movement, before everything explodes again. That instant, that delicate and powerful space is yours, and many are giving it away without even realizing it. Because as soon as they open their eyes, the first thing they seek is not the sunlight. It's the light of a screen. And that's a brutal mistake. The screen is not just an object, it's a door. One that connects your mind with thousands of voices, images, expectations, problems, and urgencies that aren't even yours. You enter a world you can't control before having controlled your own. And that breaks you from the inside, slowly, without you noticing. It drags you. It makes you start the day with anxiety, comparison, distraction. The sun, on the other hand, demands nothing from you. It doesn't push you, it doesn't demand results. It's just there, giving you real light, real energy, natural rhythm. Your body, your brain, your hormones, everything is designed to align with it. Not with a phone, not with a social network, not with news you can't change. The Stoics didn't have technology, but they had something better: awareness of time. They knew that the early hours of the day were sacred, not because they were mystical, but because they were clean, empty of mental pollution, empty of noise. They were fertile ground, and they took advantage of it to think clearly, move with purpose, decide with strength. Today, that ground barely exists, because we invade it ourselves with a single gesture, unlocking the screen. Waking up with the sun is not a romantic idea. It's an act of rebellion. It's telling the world, me first, my mind first, my energy first. It's going back to basics, to what doesn't depend on connection, battery, or signal. It's looking outside before looking inside a screen. It's breathing, feeling, moving, observing, connecting with the real environment before letting the digital dictate your emotional state. And this is not about demonizing technology. It's about putting it in its place. Because the problem is not the device, it's the moment you use it. The price you pay for starting the day connected to the noise is your focus, your presence, your clarity, and you're paying it every day. Make a pact with yourself. During the first minutes of the day, the screen doesn't enter your world. Not to check messages, not to see news, not even to distract yourself. Upon waking, the first thing that enters your mind should be real. Real light, real air, real movement. Because that's the foundation of a firm mind and a well-built day. Get up, open a window, let the sun in. Take a walk, breathe deeply, feel your body. Listen to the silence if there is any. And if there isn't, create an internal one. A space of clarity before the chaos, because when you start the day with yourself, the rest of the world no longer dominates you. 5. Activate your temple. Every morning is like opening a training camp before battle. You're not yet on the front line, but you know it's coming. And there are only two types of people: those who warm up their bodies, prepare their armor, sharpen their tools, and those who go straight into the fire without having moved a single muscle. Guess who falls first? That's what many are doing. Going out to face the day with a sleepy, tense, slow body. They want to make firm decisions, perform at their best, keep calm in the midst of stress, but they do it within a structure that has not been ignited. And so, no matter how much mental strength you have, if the body doesn't respond, everything wobbles. Your body is not just a physical tool, it's your temple. It's the vehicle that carries your decisions, your emotions, your character. And that temple, if not activated early, starts to turn against you. It becomes heavy, rigid. It turns into one more obstacle instead of being a platform that propels you. Activating it is not a whim, it's a strategic necessity. Moving at the start of the day is like checking your defenses before opening the castle doors. You're preparing your structure for the siege because you know that pressure, chaos, tasks, news, noise will come. And you're not going to face it weak. You're not going to face it cold. And you don't need to train like a soldier. The important thing is not the type of exercise, but the intention. Stretch your muscles, breathe deeply, get your blood moving, wake up your joints, harden your posture, activate your senses, because when the body wakes up, the mind obeys. The Stoics understood this in their essence. They didn't talk about the body for aesthetics or vanity. They did it because they knew that there is no virtue without energy. There is no temperance without physical endurance. There is no wisdom if your internal system is collapsed. The body was part of their spiritual practice. It was their battlefield and also their sacred temple. Today, we have forgotten it. We prefer to start the day running towards tasks, skipping meals, ignoring tensions, forcing the body to continue without even asking it if it's ready. And then we're surprised when we have no energy, no strength, no emotional resilience. It's not a mystery, it's negligence. Therefore, every morning, before doing anything else, activate your temple. Do it for you. Do it because you know what's coming. Do it because you can't fight from a weak base. Move even if you don't feel like it. Move even if you're tired. Move because it's the clearest way to say, I'm here, I'm present, I'm prepared. An ignited body is a sharp mind. A strong body is a barrier against inertia. And a forgotten body is a silent betrayal of your own greatness. 6. Feed your mind before the world does. Your mind at the start of the day is like freshly tilled fertile ground. The soil is loose, open, ready to receive seeds. And here comes the critical part. Those seeds can be yours, or they can be from anyone. Ideas, thoughts, beliefs, emotional states, whatever enters first will take deep root. And that's the problem. Most people allow the world to sow first. Before they've formed a single idea of their own, they're already reading headlines, checking networks, listening to other people's opinions. And it's not just information they're absorbing, it's direction. They're giving up control of their focus, their energy, their internal narrative. They're telling the world, tell me what I should think, what I should feel, how I should start the day. That's surrendering before you even start. Your mind is not an open street for anyone to walk on. It's a sacred space. And if you don't feed it with intention, the environment will do so urgently. Don't expect to have clarity if the first thing you let in is confusion. Don't expect to have strength if the first message of the day is fear, drama, or comparison. Don't expect to think freely if your thoughts are no longer your own. This principle is simple but powerful. The first thing that enters your mind each morning should come from you or from something you've consciously chosen. A book, a reflection, a passage that inspires you, something that nourishes, builds, connects you with your purpose and not with collective anxiety. The Stoics did it every day. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his diary in the morning to remind himself who he was, what he controlled, what he had to endure. It was his way of anchoring his mind before going out to face the chaos. They knew that a mind without direction was like a ship without a rudder. The strongest wind carries it away, and the world, now more than ever, blows in many directions. Almost all of them wrong. So before the world speaks to you, speak to yourself. Don't get up and go straight outside. Get up and direct your thinking. Read something that reminds you of your values. Write a phrase that sets your focus. Repeat a principle that serves as a mental shield. What matters is not how long you do it, but that you are the one who sows. Because a mind nourished from early on is much harder to manipulate. It has a filter, it has structure, it has strength. It doesn't get carried away by any current. It doesn't break at the first difficulty. It doesn't lose its way because of a bad comment or alarming news. Do it daily. Do it before touching the phone, before answering messages, before allowing the world into your inner space. Let the first thing your mind hears each morning be your voice, not the noise from outside. And if you don't know where to start simple. A paragraph from a book that uplifts you, an affirmation that brings your focus back, a powerful question: what kind of person do I want to be today? That's enough to make a difference, because whoever feeds their mind with intention thinks clearly, and whoever thinks clearly lives with power. 7. Anticipate the battle of the day. A commander does not go out into the field without studying the terrain. He does not throw himself into battle without maps, without foresight, without strategy. Because he knows that chaos does not forgive those who improvise. And although he cannot control every move of the enemy, he can decide how he is going to respond. That's what you have to do every morning: anticipate the battle. Because the day is going to bring pressure, that's a fact. Unexpected tasks, difficult people, news that hits hard, moments of doubt, temptations of distraction, small crises that threaten to knock you off course. If you don't see it coming, it breaks you. If you see it coming, you go through it with a firm chest. This step is not about obsessing over what could go wrong. It's about preparing to respond, not to react. It's about asking yourself, as soon as the day begins, what can challenge me today? What situations could make me lose control? What internal battles do I already know will come? Perhaps it's the lack of motivation in the afternoon. Maybe it's a difficult conversation. Maybe it's a financial situation, a negative thought, a constant distraction. The important thing is not to eliminate it. The important thing is to recognize it. Because when you name it, it loses power. When you ignore it, it takes you by surprise and dominates you. The Stoics did not seek to have perfect days. They knew that was an illusion. What they did was prepare their character for imperfection. They mentally trained every morning to endure frustration, discomfort, failure, injustice. They were not scandalized by the harshness of the world. They hardened themselves, and that mindset is gold. Because you can't control everything that happens, but you can train your response. And that starts early, before the world tests you. Visualize the conflict, Rehearse firmness, review your purpose, remember your principles. That's training for real life. Do it without drama, but with seriousness. Close your eyes for a moment and say, today I could encounter frustration, delays, people who do not act as I would expect, and yet I will continue to act with temperance, with clarity, with strength. Make it brief but profound, because you don't need to recite speeches, you need to be ready. Also ask yourself, what do I need to protect today? Your focus, your energy, your peace of mind? If you don't know, you'll lose it as soon as someone comes to take it away. And they will take it away, not out of malice, but because no one is going to take care of your mind for you. That's your responsibility. This final point is not a soft closure, it's a cry of alert. Because every day there is combat, sometimes external, sometimes internal. But there is always something that tests your character, and if you're not mentally prepared to resist, you're going to lose small battles that accumulate, until one day, without knowing how, you realize that you're living defensively. Anticipating the battle is what separates those who survive the day from those who conquer it. So before you go out, before you act, before you run, stop for a moment and face it. Ask yourself, am I ready for the worst without losing the best of me? Because that is the true victory, not to avoid chaos, but to go through it without losing your center. 8. Declare victory upon waking up. Waking up is like emerging from a dark cave after a long night of battle. You're unarmed, vulnerable, confused. During those first breaths, the body doesn't yet know whether to stay at rest or stand up. And there, right at that moment, everything is defined. Either you take command, or the day takes it from you. Most people wake up as if nothing is at stake. They get up as if they had guaranteed time, as if they could postpone effort, as if the mere fact of existing was enough for everything to work. But the world doesn't operate like that. Nobody is going to stop the chaos for you to find clarity. Nobody is going to give you permission to take control. If you don't take it, someone else will. That's why the first thing you should do when you open your eyes is not to check your phone or think about what's missing or remember the frustrations of the previous day. The first thing you should do is declare victory, not because you've already won anything, but because you need to establish your mental position. Because if you don't put yourself in conquest mode, your mind will go into survival mode, and living on the defensive is the quickest path to a stagnant life. The Stoics spoke of the day as a test, not as a punishment, but as an opportunity. Today, said Marcus Aurelius, I will encounter ingratitude, arrogance, betrayal, but that doesn't change who I am. That's the declaration. It's not about shouting empty phrases in front of the mirror. It's about remembering who you are, what you're building, and why it's worth facing everything standing up. And no, you don't need to perform a magic ritual or follow a 5-hour routine to achieve it. You just need to stop for a few seconds. Breathe. Feel that you're alive. And instead of letting the first thought of the day be that you're tired, late, or fed up, decide that you're already winning because you're here, because you're awake, because you have one more opportunity, and because you're not going to waste it. This is not cheap positive thinking. It's a mental stance. It's like entering a ring with your fists up. It doesn't guarantee that you won't get hit, but it does ensure that you won't be caught off guard. And that, in the real world, makes all the difference. So make it simple but firm. Before you move, before you speak, before you touch a screen, declare your victory. It can be out loud, it can be in your mind, but let it be clear. Let your body feel it, let your mind record it. Say, this day is mine. No matter what comes, I'm ready. I won't react like a victim, I'll act as the owner of my time. Say, I'm not here to survive, I'm here to advance. Say, the world owes me nothing, but I owe everything to myself. Do it over and over again until it's not a forced act, but a brutal habit. Because whoever declares their victory upon waking up doesn't enter the day as a spectator. They enter as the protagonist. Thank you for staying until the end of the video. If you watched the whole thing, Comment, "I am Stoic," as our secret signal to know that you're a true student of Stoicism. Don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. See you in the next video, and remember, keep cultivating your Stoic mind.